howlings in the desert. You who will learn the wisdom of hidden things and traverse the avenues of shadow beneath the stars. Heed this song of pain that was chanted by one who went unseen before you, that you may follow in the singing of his voice across the wind-blown sands that obscure the marks of his feet. Each who goes into the empty space walks alone, but where one is gone, another may follow. Turn not your mind from night fares, but embrace them as a lover. Let terror possess your body and course through your veins with its heady intoxication to steal your judgment and your very reason. In the madness of the night, all sounds become articulate. A man is sure of himself. A man sure of himself, confident in his strength, aware of his rightful place, remains forever ignorant. His mind is closed. He cannot learn in life, and after death there is no acquisition of knowledge, only unending certainty. His highest fulfillment is to be food for the things that burrow and squirm, for in their mindless hunger they are pure, undefiled by reason, and their purity elevates them above the putrefying pride of our race. By writhing on your belly in abject terror, you will rise up in awareness of truth. By the screams that fill the throat, unsought is the mind, purged of corruption of faith. Believe in nothing. There is no purpose in birth, no salvation of the soul in life, no reward after death. Abandon hope, and you shall become free, and with freedom acquire emptiness. The night things that hop and skitter and fleet at the edges of the campfire glow exist only to teach, but no man can understand their words unless he has lost fear in the memory of his name. 2 serving maidens will come to you when you lie alone, and will lead you to the place within yourself that cannot be known but only felt. These handmaidens are terror and despair. Let them guide you into nightmares that follow one upon the other, like wind-blown grains of sand, until they cover over the markers of your mind. When you have lost yourself in the wasteland of unending nothingness, the night things will come. With hope utterly abandoned, all else will leave you, save only fear. Your name forgotten, your memories bereft of meaning, without desire or purpose, and having no regret, you would cease utterly to exist, and you would become one with the greatness of the night, were it not for fear. Let your terror be your standing place amid the ocean of darkness. From it you cannot retreat, for it is all that you are become. Pure fear is undifferentiated, a smoothness without line or color. Hence a man in the extremity of terror is united with all other terrified men. More than this, in the purity of terror, he becomes one with all fearful creatures in this world, or other worlds, both in this moment and in distant aeons of time. And in that unity wherein dwells the wisdom of all, his mind is open, and the night things speak. Pain is the terror of the body. And as the body is but a pallid reflection of the mind, so is pain of the flesh no more than a distant echo of the terror of dreams. Even so, do not despise your pain, for it has function. Pain anchors the mind to the flesh. In the absence of pain, the mind will fly up and become lost in the spaces between the stars, and darkness will consume it. Just as the mind can lose all aspects of itself, but it will never cease to fear, so shall the body lose all strength and sensations or longing, but will always feel pain. While there is life, there is pain, and fear continues even when life is no more. Despair is not separate from terror, but is the consequence of the abatement of fear. When terror fills the mind, there is room for nothing else. But when it withdraws in part, as it must do, for it ebbs and flows even as the tides of the sea, then the mind is left cleansed and empty. And this condition is called despair. In despair there is a void that yearns to be filled up. Let the night things fill it with their whisperings, and in this way grow wise in the secret ways of this world and other worlds unknown to men. Of all the pains, hunger is the most useful, since it gnaws unceasingly like the worm in the tomb. It is the gateway upon an emptiness vast and endless. No matter the quantity or kind of food, it is never filled up. All living creatures are but embodiments of hunger. Man is a hollow tube, ingesting food at one end and excreting waste at the other. How is it possible for a man to be other than empty? As it is for the body, so is it also for the mind. The natural condition of the mind is emptiness. All efforts to fill it are temporary diversions that fail to deny this truth. To learn arcane wisdom is the simplest of tasks. Purge the mind with terror, purge the body with pain and hunger. Take yourself out into the empty spaces of the world that express in their limited way the same qualities as the empty spaces between the stars. The things that dwell there are ever watchful. They exist only to teach. After terror becomes despair, and in despair the language of the shadows is intelligible. As you empty your mind of self, the night creatures fill it with their wisdom. The wisest of these creatures is the black beetle that lives on the dung of others. Dead food is better than food that is living, since its essence is nearer to the ultimate state of decay to which we all tend. From corruption arises new life. Fill yourself with corruption, and from it you shall be reborn. Even as the fungi arise and glow with radiance on the faces of the dead who have rested in their tomb as a span of years. Emulate the beetles and the worms. Learn their teachings. Eat the dead, lest you be consumed by the emptiness. The living cannot teach the dead, but the dead can instruct the living. In the wasteland dwell those things that cannot abide by the light of reason. Even as man is a creature of day and ceases to know himself during the darkness, so do the things of the void cease to articulate their identity during the hours of the sun. They sleep by day and wake by night to feed. The terror of man is their nourishment, and their excrement is higher wisdom. The dung of these things may only be consumed when the mind is made empty by terror and is in a receptive state of despair. Unless the mind be perfectly purged, their excrement will be vomited up and lost. The exquisite rapture of hunger retains all foods and extracts nourishment even from the husk of beetles and the casting of worms. Ingest wisdom with the darkness and sleep by day. Separate yourself from humanity. For what use have you for these pale, blinking fools and their ceaseless yammerings? In life they serve no function. In death they are only food for the crawling creatures. Take yourself apart. Embrace your fear and listen to the darkness. Your teachers will come as they appear before you. Consume their wisdom. Grind their shitness cases between your teeth and partake of their essence. And the whirring of their wings and the rubbing of their legs is music. Consume all, even the other things that approach, those that have no bodies, but only teeth and eyes that gleam in shadow. The crawling things instruct the body, and the shadow things teach the mind, but the wisdom of both must be consumed. There is only hunger in the universe. Devour everything.